Georgia's Senate race between Republican candidate Herschel Walker and Democrat Senator Raphael Warnock, one of 4 Senate races, still too close to call.
And guess what? Neither candidate topping 50% just yet, with 98% of the vote counted. Speak Georgia Inc. co-founder Janelle King joins us now. Janelle, wow. What do you think about this race, and is it going to go to a runoff?
You know what? I absolutely do think it's going to go to a runoff, but I have to say congratulations to our governor, to our lieutenant governor, AG Carr, all the way down to our labor commissioner, Bruce Thompson. I'm so excited. But I do think this is going to go to a runoff. I think what this race is showing us, though, is that the surveying polling was a little off, but I don't think internal polling was. I've said numerous times that I felt like the momentum on the Republican side was very interesting. I feel like I was hearing a lot about the governor and not so much about Herschel Walker. So I do think that this is something that's not too surprising. However, the abortion, we found out that the abortion topic was a bit of a wild card in both races, and a little bit of a challenge for Herschel to overcome. However, we are now in a position where all eyes will be on Georgia. I do believe that it's going to come down to Georgia more than likely, and that's going to have to drive momentum and drive turnout. This is going to be this is going to really be focused on turnout.
Okay, so if we do get to this runoff, who do you think has the advantage?
So traditionally, Republicans have the advantage, and I do think that Herschel Walker is going to go into this with the advantage. It really depends on if we pick up a Senate seat in another state or not. But I do think that as long as it comes all the way down to Georgia and that the Senate is hanging in the balance between what happens here, I do think that that's going to favor Herschel Walker.
We talked a lot about how Brian Kemp's popularity in Georgia could have been lifting Herschel Walker up. Stacey Abrams did not win. It wasn't even close. Could her lack of popularity be dragging Raphael Warnock down?
Oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, we said that last night, my husband and I. We were talking about how it looks like, Stacey Abrams was a bit of an anchor, as well as, some people may say that the vice versa, because Herschel Walker didn't get nearly as much as Governor Kemp. But I do think that Stacey Abrams' rhetoric is really pushing people away from the Democratic Party, and it's making them question all of the candidates because they're waiting to hear something different. And they're not. So with Warnock going into this race, what I do believe is that Democrats are going to stick with the Democrat, and I think Republicans are going to stick with their Republican. So that means that this is going to, the swing is going to be dependent upon the independents. So now we're going to hear and see what the message is to independents and how does that resonate.
I feel like this is a storm system where you have competing factors at play going against each other. It's going to lead to a wild December 6th, if and when the runoff ultimately happens. Focusing on Stacey Abrams for a moment, Janelle, is this it for her? Is her political career done, or is she going to pull a Beto and try to run unsuccessfully for something for a third time?
She may, but I believe her political career is done. I think it was done a long time ago. I think it started when she said that, Georgia was the worst place to live. So I do feel like it's done. I don't see her going anywhere. Congratulations to Kemp. He really defeated this situation, defeated Goliath, and he did it twice. So I think that there's definitely big kudos to our governor.
Yeah. And some of her parting words on the campaign trail that have gotten a lot of attention were the fact that she said that black male voters have been fed misinformation, and some people interpreted that as a real knock against black men in the state. And she also, during the debate, said that she's not a part of the good old boys club when she was trying to make the argument that she's pro-police. And it seems like that sort of rhetoric does not work in Georgia.
No, not at all. My husband started the campaign Kings for America, as he's a chairman of Let's Win for America Action. And Kings for America is definitely focusing in on the black male population, but all men in general, is making sure that we are hearing their needs and hearing their concerns. Because I do think that the black male population is like a forgotten segment of voters, because we tend to bring out black men when it comes to police brutality or crime and every other negative stereotype. However, they have something to say, and they're saying it today. And I said it last night, definitely for Stacey Abrams, but it just shows that you can't fall back on this. You can't continue to call men toxic and then blame masculinity as to the reason why they're not supporting you. you have to have more. And that's what this is saying. So we're going to continue to work on this. I know my husband with kingsforamerica.com, we're going to really be focusing in on this pocket, and hopefully we can see some results in December.
85% of voters found increasing violent crime rates an important factor when voting. Stacey Abrams was tied to the defund the police movement. How much did that lose her this race?
Oh, my goodness. I think that hurt her terribly. The fact of the matter is, when I talk to single moms who are in low-income communities, they most certainly want the police to be funded. And that is something that is important. And so while she's spinning this rhetoric, it only speaks to the gatekeepers and those who are living behind gates, and not to those who are actually living in these communities. It just shows her lack of attachment to the people that she's claiming to serve.
Janelle, real quick answer from you, because we got to roll, but do you see a presidential run in Brian Kemp's future?
It's so funny. We were talking about that yesterday as well. I do believe that if he continues to stay on the track that he's on, if he has another wonderful 4 years, I absolutely can see him doing that. But I'm not, that's my words. There's nothing I've heard from him. But I definitely can see it happening.
And he's busy celebrating his victory right now. Janelle King, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Janelle.
Thank you for having me.